alarms of war are ringing loud in Europe, and this message is coming straight from Moscow's highest corridors of power. Russia appears to be bracing for a direct confrontation with NATO. Not a Cold War, not a diplomatic spat, but an actual military face-off. Russian President Vladimir Putin's top spy chief has publicly accused the NATO of increasing its military activity in the border areas surrounding both Russia and Belarus. And this, he said, has prompted both Russian and Belarusian security services to prepare for quote-unquote preemptive measures against NATO countries. While holding talks with the Belarusian president, the head of Russia's SVR Foreign Intelligence Service has said, and I'm quoting here now, "We feel and see that European countries, especially France, Britain and Germany, are increasing the level of escalation around the Ukrainian conflict. So we need to act preemptively. We are ready for this," quote unquote. And the spy chief further said that Russia would inflict quote-unquote damage on the entire military alliance if NATO threatens Moscow or Belarus, adding that Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia would be, in his words, the first to suffer. Remember, in April 2022, Russian bombers and fighters practiced delivering surgical strikes in drills in the Baltic region. The drills involved over 10 crews of Su-24M and Su-27 aircraft. But why is Narishkin saying all of this really? Is the NATO actually building its forces near Russia and Belarusian borders? You see, just 2 weeks ago, Germany deployed a 5,000-strong armored brigade in Lithuania, marking Germany's first permanent foreign troop deployment since the Second World War. And where did they place them? Right on Lithuania's border with Belarus. And there's more, by the way. Poland and the Baltic states like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania announced plans to withdraw from an international treaty banning the use of landmines, citing growing threats from Russia. And in mid-February, Finland and American troops carried out massive drills preparing for a winter war near the Arctic region. And just earlier today, the Finnish government decided to keep the border with Russia shut until further notice, without specifying any further details. So as the NATO increases troop presence in its eastern flank and carries out drills for a future war, we are circling back to that big question: what do preemptive measures really mean for Moscow? Just last December, Belarus's president said the country is hosting dozens of Russian nuclear weapons and was in the process of preparing facilities that could accommodate Russia's latest hypersonic ballistic missiles. And just last Friday, Putin said Russia's naval-based nuclear weapons have been completely modernized. You have to listen to this.
The share of modern weapons and equipment in the naval strategic nuclear forces in Russia is already 100%. And I would like to emphasize that this figure must be maintained in the future.
So that's an excerpt from, as you can see on the screen, one of the brothers with the Saints of Jersey 2. You know, he put that up, and, I just wanted to go into this because, as you can see, it says breaking: Russia prepares to go to war with NATO, which I'm going to head mine. Russia prepares for war with NATO, World War III, man. You know what I'm saying? Which is a World War III update. You know what I'm saying? And all of these things are Bible prophecy. You know what I'm saying? All 3 world wars are prophesied in the Bible, which we'll get. But the first thing I want to go to is let's get the Bibles going now. Let's get into these scriptures. I want to go to Exodus, the 15th chapter, and we're going to read verse 3, because this is the reason that war has been in the earth and is happening in the earth, man. This is Exodus 15:3, and it reads, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is a man of war. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is his name. So these things are happening because the one these people ignorantly refer to as God, some say Jehovah in the Christian churches and different things. You got a lot of Israelite groups pronouncing his name wrong. Yahuwah, Ahaya. No, bro. The true biblical name is Yahweh. And his only begotten son, whom the world ignorantly refers to as Jesus Christ. Again, a lot of these Israelite groups are getting it wrong. Yeshaya, uh, uh, what is the other one? Yahuwah and Yeshua, Yeshaya. No, man. His name is Yahweh Shai, man. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord, the Most High, whom they know as God, you know, is a man of war. And that's why war has been happening in the earth. That's why it's going to continue to happen in the earth until the kingdom of heaven, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is a man of war. We're reading it right here, man. You know what I'm saying? And all three wars are of course, right now we're the third world's war. World War III, Armageddon in the Hebrew, Armageddon is upon us. You know what I'm saying? We're in the midst of it right now. There's levels to war. And things are about to go into hot war, man. You know what I'm saying? Things are heating up. Tensions are constantly building. You know what I'm saying? And Lord willing, it continues, man. And that everything is on line as far as the prophecies for this thing to pop off soon, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything is already as far as the chip, the which is the mark of the beast. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of groups trying to refute that, but you can't, man. You know what I'm saying? That charagma is here. You know what I'm saying? Which is the mark in Revelation, the 13th chapter, which is not to be misconstrued or mistaken by the mark that's in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter, because they're getting it wrong. These groups out here are saying it's the same thing. It's not. It's one and the same. No, it's not, man. The mark in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter, is the mark of exemption, the tawah, that the elect is going to receive. And the mark in Revelation, the 13th chapter, is charagma, you know what I'm saying, which the 2/3 is going to receive. And they're going to be destroyed when you read the very next chapter, Revelation, the 14th chapter, that thermonuclear destruction, that fire and brimstone, you know what I'm saying, without mixture, poured out without mixture. They're going to receive that, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's two different marks. One is a spiritual mark, that the Y is a spiritual mark. The other one is a carnal left-hand mark of Esau, which is the charagma, man. You know what I'm saying? Two different marks, man. You got these groups out, bugged out groups and camps that are teaching that it's the same through, man. You know what I'm saying? But, going back to the original point, the Lord is a man of war. Russia is preparing to go to war with NATO, World War III, man. And all three world wars are prophesied in the Bible. So we'll get that real quick. Let's go to Revelations, the 8th chapter. And we're going to jump down to verse 13, the very last verse. And we're going to read it. And it reads, Revelations 8 and 13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound. So those three woes, which woe means destruction, is talking about world wars, man. Those three major destructions in the earth, man. There was three prophesied: woe, World War I; woe, World War II; and woe, World War III, which is the final world's war, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is going into. When you've been given those mysteries and secrets that the scriptures speak of, which everybody has not been given, man. Amos, the 3rd chapter, in verse 7, he reveals his secret to his servants, the prophets. You know what I'm saying? Colossians, the 1st chapter, as a matter of fact, we can get that one. Let's get the one in Colossians real quick. The 1st chapter and verse 25 or 26, verse 26, Colossians 1 and 26, even the mystery which hath been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints. And of course, the saints are the Israelites, which in these times consist of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negro descent. And of course, the scattered seed that's been, because the diaspora, the scattering of the Israelites into all nations, you're going to have Israelites coming looking like the other nations, man. You know what I'm saying? So those are the saints. And in these times, only the elect, this is only referring to the elect in these times, because the Lord is not dealing with his whole nation, entire nation in these times. Pursuant to Zechariah, the 13th chapter and verse 8, two parts shall be cut off and deleted, because they're wicked as hell in these times, and the Lord is not dealing with them, So he's only dealing with that one part, the elect, that's going to be brought through the fire, man, through all these troublesome times that we're coming into, So Let's go into this word real quick, mystery. And it's G3466, Mysterion. We'll let him say it. Let this devil say it.
Strong's G3466, Mysterion.
Mysterion, and it's outline of biblical history. Salakia, biblical usage is hidden thing. So it's hidden, man. It's not, everybody can't see it, man. You know, is it given to you to know the mysteries, but unto them it's not given. You know, Matthew 13 and 11. Matthew 19 and 11. Mark 4, 11 and 12. You know what I'm saying? It said a hidden thing, secret. You know, he revealeth this secret to his servants, the prophets. Amos, the 3rd chapter and verse 7. Mystery, you know, which is this right here, Mysterion. You know what I'm saying? The saints, man, which is talking about the elect in these times. General mysteries, religious secrets confided only to the initiated. Yeah, that's Ephesians. What's that? The 1st chapter. Those predestinated, preordained spirits that were going to be given this knowledge in the end times, man. They were chosen before. You know what I'm saying? So those are the initiated. It says only to the initiated and not to ordinary mortals. So the rest of these people are considered to be ordinary mortals, man. So the men of the Lord are not ordinary mortals. Stop looking at them in that fashion, man, because they're not. You know, they're initiated. They're men of the Lord. They have the mysteries and the secrets of the Bible. They have this knowledge. So they're above anything and everything else on this planet, man. You know, so it says a hidden or secret thing not obvious to the understanding. You know, yeah, it's given to you. It's not given to them. There's a clear separation from the elect in 1/3 and the 2/3. And of course, the rest of the nations, they ain't even in the equation, man. You know what I'm saying? He's not dealing with them. A hidden purpose or counsel, secret will of men of the Most High, the secret counsels which govern the Most High in dealing with the righteous, which are hidden from ungodly and wicked men, but plain to the godly. Then again, that's the difference between the elect and 1/3, which are those godly men, and the ungodly is the 2/3, man, which is going to be destroyed by way of this thermonuclear destruction that's coming by way of what we're going into right now. Russia is preparing for war with NATO, World War III, which is going to bring that final destruction, that final woe of those 3 woes in Revelations 8 and 13, man. You know what I'm saying? So these things are all biblical prophecy, man. It's Bible prophecy, and they're playing out, man. You know what I'm saying? So that first woe, you know, let's get it real quick. Let's just keep it going. That first woe is in the very next chapter. It's Revelation chapter 9 and verse 12. And it reads, one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. So one woe is past. Is going into World War I, man. You know what I'm saying? That happened. You know what I'm saying? You can look that up. Look World War I up. That happened in the earth, which is prophesied in the Bible, man, because this is a living entity. This book is alive, man. You know, it says, and 2 more woes, or 2 woe, Salakia, there come 2 woes more hereafter. So that's World War II and World War III, which World War II happened as well, man. So let's get that real quick. In Revelation, the 11th chapter, we'll drop down to the verse 14, and it reads, Revelations 11 and 14, the second woe is past, which is World War II. So we've had World War I, that first woe, World War II, that second woe, and there's one more. There were 3 woes in Revelation, the 8th chapter and verse 13. And behold, the third woe, that third world's war, that third destruction, woe means destruction, you know, that final world war, that final destruction, Armageddon, Armageddon in the Hebrew, cometh quickly. So World War I happened, World War II happened, now World War III is upon us. It's here right now, very quickly, just like the scripture said. You know what I'm saying? So all of these things are written, have been spoken by the Lord. He's a man, he can't lie. You know what I'm saying? He says in Isaiah 55 and 11 that his word is not going to come back to him void, but it's going to accomplish the thing whereto he sent it. These things have been spoken and written, so they have to happen. You know what I'm saying? Or the Lord is the very liar he said he can't be. He can't lie. He's a man that he can't lie. So these things are going to happen. That's why it says that his words are faithful and true, man. You know what I'm saying? These things are all Bible prophecy. Revelations 19 and 10. Yahweh Shai, the spirit of prophecy. Sirach 39 and 1. We are to be occupied in prophecy. 2 Ezra 15 and 1. The Lord says, speaking to the ears of his people, the words of prophecy. And when we read in, I believe it's 2 Peter, the first chapter in verse 19, it says we have a more sure word of prophecy. So it's all about prophecy, you know. And when you read, let's go here in Habakkuk, the second chapter, and we'll start at verse 2. What does it say? Habakkuk 2 and 2. And Yahweh Bashem Yahushai answered me and said, write the vision, the prophecies, and make it plain upon tables, which is talking about the scriptures, the Bible, man, that he may run that readeth it, you know, which is talking about the prophets, the servants, the prophets, you know, the ones that have the mysteries and secrets of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Verse 3, for the vision, the prophecy is yet for an appointed time, which we're in those times now, but at the end, which we're at, it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, seems like it's taking a long time, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So these things, we're in the times of these things, just like it says in Ezekiel 12, we're in a times of every, the effect of every vision, man. You know, every vision, every prophecy, because there's a proverb in Israel that these things are not going to happen, man. You know, yeah, I've been saying that, and, you know, but you're saying it, man. These people are constantly reporting on, you know, Russia, you know, because the tensions are building, you know what I'm saying? The war drums are beating, you know, things are escalating, constantly escalating, you know, and this thing is moving forward and being pushed forward, man. You know, Trump is doing his thing, man. You know, Nero is at it, man, and he's doing it. You know what I'm saying? So, and Tawada Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for that, because like the scripture saying, Proverbs 21 and 1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Most High. And like the rivers of waters, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So this thing is all about the will, purpose, and power of the Lord, man. You know, he has the will. Nobody had. There is no such thing as free will. And the Lord is world wars and war. He's a man of war. Exodus 15 and 3. We bought that out. We went into that. So these things are happening, and they're prophesied, and they're going to happen. You know. So, you know, real quick, let's go to Matthew the 23rd, Salaki the 24th chapter. And we're going to start right here at verse 3, then I'm going to drop down. This is Matthew 24 and 3, and it reads, and he sat upon the Mount of Olives, as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, Salakia, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Christians read this verse, and they get it all twisted. They think that's talking about the end of the earth, man. Well, that's not what this is talking about. Let's go into this word real quick, and we're going to drop down to that word world. And it's G165, ion. Let him say it.
Strong's G165, ion.
So ion or eon, you know, however you say it, you know, and it's G65, 165, Salakia. Outline of biblical usage, forever, an unbroken age, perpetuity of time, eternity, the world's universe. But here is what it actually is referring to: a period of time and age. You know, the end of a time period, the end of an age. You know, there are ages to things. You know, the age of Aquarius, it had its time period and then it ended. You know, so that's what it's talking about. You know, whatever that the age is, what you're dealing with. In this case, the age represents the time period that the Lord was going to allow these devils to rule his planet Earth, man. You know what I'm saying? Because all nations have ruled at some point, you know, or another, you know, different dispensations of time, different, you know, but that's what it's going into, you know. So every nation has ruled at some point or another, some longer than others. But hey, that's the will of the Lord. Sings all about the will, purpose, and pleasure of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So that time period, that period of time, that age, is the end of his time period to rule, his age of rulership. That's what it's going into. That's the end of the world. Because when you read, as a matter of fact, let's get this one in Matthew, the 13th chapter real quick, because it's going to say it a little differently. You know, this is Matthew 13, and we're going to drop down to verse 40. And it reads, Matthew 13 and 40, red letter Yahushua speaking. He was speaking, and then now he's speaking again. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, because it's going into the thermonuclear destruction, the end of the world. That's what it's dealing with. It says, as therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. Okay, it said the world. Now it's saying this world, which proves that it's talking about a time period. This age, this period of time, this time period, this time to rule, this age. That's what it's talking about. As a matter of fact, it's going to be the same word. Let's go into this word right here, and we're going to drop down to the world again. End of this world. G165, same word. Let him say it.
Strong's G165. I own. And again, period of time and age. There it is right there. So that's what it's dealing with, man. It's dealing with the end of a time period, an age, a time to rule the earth, man. This was the devil's age because there were two blessings. When you read in Genesis, the 27th chapter, there were two blessings given. As a matter of fact, real quick, let's just jump to the point of it in Hebrews, the 11th chapter, in verse 20. Two blessings were given. This Hebrews 11 and 20. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. You know what I'm saying? So those two blessings, that's in Genesis, the 27th chapter. Esau and Jacob. Esau cried, because Jacob received the blessing of the kingdom of heaven. Esau cried, so Esau got a temporal blessing, because he cried, man. These Edomites, because their forefather Esau cried. So he gave him a temporal blessing of the kingdom. They're in their kingdom now for a period of time, which that period is over, man. You know what I'm saying? So everything is coming to an end. His time period, his age, or time to rule is over. It's at its end. That's the end of the world, this world, his world. It's not the end of the earth, because when you go into Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, in verse 4, what does it say? This is Ecclesiastes 1 and 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. So when it says the end of the world, it's not talking about the end of the earth. The earth abideth forever. We're reading it right here. That means it's going to last forever. Since the earth is never going to be destroyed. I don't care what these devils say. Hear all kind of madness. Yeah, the earth is going to eventually go float into and run into the sun and be destroyed. Or they say some asteroids or something's going to, stop, bro. The earth abideth forever. We're reading it right here. So I believe the Most High, rather than men. So I don't care what Esau says. You know what I'm saying? The Most High says the earth abideth forever. That's exactly what it is. He knows. He created it. So when you read the end of the world or the end of this world, it's not talking about the end of the earth. It's talking about the end of a rulership, his rulership. He's ruling right now. It's why they're making all these unrighteous decrees. Everybody's sad and mad because of these unrighteous decrees, which is those executive orders that Trump is signing, and they've been signing in every president over every year that every 4 years when they get into office, you know what I'm saying, and they get to sign on those executive orders. That's those unrighteous decrees spoken of in Isaiah, the 10th chapter, man. You know what I'm saying? So everybody is angry and mad and upset. As a matter of fact, it reminds me of Proverbs. Let's get that real quick in Proverbs 29. Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And then all you seeing in these times is people complaining how they can't live. We got two incomes, me and my husband, and we can't pay our bills. You got people getting put out of their houses, out of their apartments, evicted and nowhere to go. And they don't know what to do, man. Everybody's in despair right now, and they don't have no answers, no hope, which the scriptures speak of that in Sirach, the 7th chapter, verse 18. That wide, them that seek the wide, but they ain't gonna have no hope, but those that hope for, it's roughly, as a matter of fact, I'm messing it up. Let's just get it, because I don't want to jack it up like that. I'm jacking it up. Salakia. Let's just go to it. What is this? Sirach, the 7th chapter. Sirach was, I can't remember the second edges. Sirach 18? Not Sirach, Salakia. Second edges. Second edges, chapter 7. I think it's second edges. In verse 18.
Second Ezra 7 and 18. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for what? For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things and yet shall not see the wide. So at least the elect, have hope, which we're prisoners of, pursuing the scriptures. We're prisoners of hope, man. Prisoners of Yahushua, which if I have to be a prisoner, I'd rather be a prisoner to hope in Yahushua than to the prisoner of this devil, man, where there is no hope. I'd rather have, because there's hope in that. There's hope in being a prisoner, of hope in being a prisoner to Yahushua. There's hope there. There's something to look for, but you don't got nothing if your hope is in this devil, man. You finna lose, man. You about to take a massive big L. You know what I'm saying? So, just going back, Proverbs 29 and 2, when the righteous are in authority, which they're not, but hey, it's on the way. The Israelite rulership, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So the wicked are bearing rule right now. The earth is in the hand of the wicked. Job 9:24. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's going on, man. So these prophecies are coming to pass because this devil's ion, or eon, is at its end. His age, his time period, his time to rule the earth, man, is at its end, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's where we're at. There's nothing you can do about that. So let's go back to Matthew, the 24th chapter, real quick. We're going to drop down to verse 6. And it reads, Matthew 24 and 6, red letters, Yahushua speaking, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, which that was a rumor of war. We just saw that video with Putin and Trump and NATO and the whole nine, World War III. That's what we're seeing. We're in the midst of these things. It says, see that ye be not troubled. Why will be troubled? Isaiah 33 and 6. And knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy time and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's going to bring that knowledge that's going to keep you stable. So we have the knowledge. We understand that these things have they're the prophecies. Everything is about the prophecies. Outside the spirit of prophecy. We have that understanding. So we're not going to be bugging out when these things happen. And that's, as a matter of fact, he's finna go into that. Matthew 24 and 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. We understand that. These things have to happen, man. It says, but the end is not yet. Yeah, because there's still prophecies that have to play out. We have the Karagma that ain't fully, implemented yet. That has to be implemented and made mandatory. And then, of course, with all these wars, these rumors of wars and everything, hey, the war drums beating and everything, tensions rising, then everything is going to pop off. They're going to actually go to war, World War III, which is going to be the destruction of America, man, the destruction of Esau's kingdom. Verse 7, it says, for nation shall rise against nation, which those things are building up as well, though these race wars, riots, whatever you want to call them, and kingdom against kingdom. There you go. World War III, America, NATO, against Russia, the bear and the, China, all these different, Iran and all these different, North Korea, all these different allied nations, man. It's going to come up against this beast system. And kingdom, it says, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, which we're having in that. And of course, the big one, the most major famines that's ever been is about to happen, man. You know what I'm saying? These people are soon, they won't be able to eat. Inflation, you see all of it building up, man. You see these things, and the stuff is getting higher and higher and not affordable to buy. You're starting to see it. And all these things are going to lead into famine, man. Eventually, there's not going to be any food to eat. And then you're going to see all out madness and chaos in the earth, man. All these are the beginning of sorrows, man. So it's going to get bad, man, before it gets better. That's why the scriptures say in Daniel, the 12th chapter, a time unlike any other since there was a nation, man. Hey, bro, but hey, he shall be saved out of it. Jeremiah 30 and 7. They that be written in the book, Daniel 12 and 1. So, hey, prophecies are playing out. These things are happening, and hey, it's going down, man. So let's real quick. I want to get to this in the second Esdras, the 16th chapter, and verse 13. And it reads, this second Esdras 16 and 13. It says, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, which represents those thermonuclear missiles. That bow represents the silos that they come out of. It says, I'm going to start it again. 2 Ezra 16 and 13. For strong is his right hand, which the right hand represents Yahushai, that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. They're going to hit their mark. Joel, the 2nd chapter. It says, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, and the ends of the world represents America, man. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be shot. Those missiles are going to be shot. You know what I'm saying? It's not a thing of, bro, you think they're doing all this and creating all these missiles and just to put them up and look at them, put them in a museum? No, man. The Lord has them in that mindset, Proverbs 21:1, because they're going to war, man. There's nothing they can do. Exodus 15:3. Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name, man. Come on, bro. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So real quick, let's get one more. Go to my other Bible. We're going to go to Isaiah, the 34th chapter. And we're going to read verse 8. This is the reason. Isaiah 34:8. For it is the day of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's vengeance and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion, man. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it's going to happen. Russia prepares for war with NATO. World War III update. You know, so stay locked in, man. You know, hey, keep the faith. Keep praying. You should be praying without ceasing, like the scriptures say. And hey, man, soon we'll be getting out of here, Lord willing. You know, hopefully this was edifying to the hopeful elect, which I hope to be a part of. Abrasabakshah. Now with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishops and elders of the great millstone. And peace and blessings to the elect, the house of David, the Bayath, Shah, Dawadash, Shalom.